Okay, we see we have action item D.
Yes, President Reese. Consider and if appropriate, take action to reorganize the board officers.
Motion by Ms. Z, second by Mr. Williams. Consider appropriate action item D. Is there any discussion? Mr. Tom Neal has the floor.
Thank you, President Reese. Is this asking for board, an election on board officers?
Yes, sir, that's it. You as a board you typically wait until the election time after voting. Of course, you had 2 periods now that have been changed on you, so this is something that was requested. So at this time, you all can discuss that. Keep officers as you have them, re-elect new officers. Yes, sir.
So in light that the courts are going to hopefully rule here very near future as to when the our rescheduled election is, why wouldn't we wait? Why wouldn't we wait until then to do this? I guess is my question.
Okay, again, this is the prerogative of the board, and it appears from your advice from legal, it would not probably be as early as May of 2014. So it's your prerogative as a board.
Is there any other discussion?
I wasn't finished. I'm sorry. I guess I'm.
I apologize.
Okay. I guess, and I'm also concerned that something as important as board elections, that we would do this at a regular call board meeting instead of doing it at a special election. So I would think that, and I don't have any problem that eventually you do change your officers, but at this point in time, we hadn't had an election, and also I don't feel that this was properly posted to the public to notify them of something of this importance.
Okay. Again, I would say to you, this is the prerogative of the board. It was properly posted 72 hours, of which we try to make sure we do that, and you can reorganize at any time that you so choose to fit. And the selection of the officers, whether timing, and again, I would agree with you on that, but timing, of course, is at your discretion at this point. It won't change the impact of your decisions as it relates to management of the school functions. So, again, this is the prerogative of the board.
Is there any other discussion? Mr. McNeil has the floor.
Thank you, President Reese. I don't, as much as this is directed to you, Woodrow, President Reese here, as much as I argue with you and at times disagree with the things you do and you disagree with the things I do, I don't think that it's a good time to switch officers. I think we wait until after the election. I think we have too much going on right now, and it would almost be like changing captains in the middle of a cruise. What a lovely cruise it's been. But I just don't. I don't think the timing's right. I think that we'll wait until after the election. Thank you. No disrespect intended. I do enjoy working. I love that smile. We work as a group.
Yes. Is there any other discussion? Ms. Bush has the floor.
Yes, I was one of the board members that requested that this item be put on the agenda. I would have hoped that we would have had an election this past May, but we did not. And at that time, I would have made the same recommendation that I'm going to make tonight, or nominations that I'm going to make tonight. But I do think that any time, like we said, is an appropriate time, and since we didn't have the election, I think that it's no problem with us moving forward. As far as the public not having the proper notice, I noticed that I saw it on the news, so evidently there was some notice for it. And it's really our decision to make as to who we're going to select as our officers. And each of us has the same amount of authority as far as our vote is concerned. So whether we do it now or next month or May 2015, we still have the power of just one vote. And so I think that we can exercise our vote tonight to select the officers that we want to have in place for this board.
Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, I guess we declare all seats vacated. Mr. Hunt?
Sir?
We declare all seats vacated?
Well, no, you haven't voted yet as to whether you're going to reorganize it or not. That's the action item.
Okay. Okay, all in favor of reorganizing, raise your right hand. That's 4. All against, raise your right hand. That is 3. Okay. Motion passed. The motion passed.
Yes, sir.
So do we turn it into your hands as the attorney?
Right? Temporary chair will entertain nominations for the office of board president. Ms. Bush?
Yes, Attorney Hunt, I'd like to nominate Glenn Ambrose as president of the board.
When Ambrose has been nominated, are there other nominations? Ms. Meyer?
I nominate Woodrow Reese.
Mr. Reese has been nominated. Are there any other nominations? Entertain a motion that the nominations cease. Do I have such a motion? Mr. President?
I so
Second. Moved and seconded that nominations cease. All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Nominations cease. We have 2 candidates, and we will vote on those 2 candidates. Ms. Ambrose was named first. All in favor of Ms. Ambrose's election as board president, please raise your hand. I have 4. All in favor of Mr. Reese, please raise your hand. I have 3. Ms. Ambrose is the new board president. You may resign, there's may come to this president's place and handle the election of the vice president and secretary. Unless you'd like to continue, I'm happy to.
I'd like you to continue, and if we could make this effective 12/01 Friday. Is that appropriate? No.
In other words, I think what Mr. Reese will continue to preside over the meeting is what you're saying. So next board meeting, then this will be in effect. I also want to remind the community.
No, that's not what she said. Every state is one if you will.
I'm asking, is it appropriate for this change in officers to take place effective 12/01 Friday?
That means at midnight
Yes.
tonight.
Well,
Which would
that
allow.
was not in Ms. Bush's original motion.
Okay.
And without that, then, because she simply moved for reorganization tonight. And that's what I mean.
What in the hell is going on? He's been overthrown. Yeah, that makes sense to y'all.
Nominations open for vice president. Mr. Williams. Janice Broussard has been placed in nomination. Any others? Do I hear a motion to close nominations?
I so move.
It's been moved by Ms. Bush, seconded by Mr. Williams to close nominations on the office of vice president. All those in favor? please sign by your right hand. Okay. Motion carries. All those in favor of Ms. Broussard as Vice President, please raise your right hand.
I think that's what you did.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. A little bit of a learning curve. All right. So Ms. Broussard retains her office of Vice President of the Board. Okay? The nominations are open for Secretary of the Board. Do I hear nominations? Ms. Bush?
I'd like to nominate Terry Williams.
Mr. Terry Williams' name has been placed in nomination for Secretary of the Board. Are there others? Okay, hearing none, I will entertain a motion to close the nominations for office of Secretary.
I so move.
It has been moved by Ms. Bush, seconded by Mr. Williams, that we close nominations for office of Secretary. All those approved? In favor of, please raise your right hand. Okay. So, I'm sorry. All opposed? Mr. Reese. Okay. Mr. Terry Williams does retain the seat of Secretary of the Board. Any other business to come before the board?
Yes, President Ambrose, what I would like to say to our public, kind of what I was getting at, not that the leadership would not be affected today. What I do want our public to realize is, beginning in November, you as a board, you created some board operating guidelines. You've also passed a resolution as to behavior and decorum in your meetings. We do want the public to be aware and on record, and our staff to know that those policies will be placed in effect at our next regularly scheduled November board meeting. So we will make sure that those things are posted and available to you so that you know what we expect behavior to be in your board meetings. I also want to say to you too, there's major concern about student safety and staff safety. And if you've been watching the news or hearing reports about teacher safety and student safety, I do want you to be aware that Chief Duncan, his department, Mr. Brooks, they do take concerns from staff and our students about safety very, very deeply, and they do respond to it. So I want you to be aware that we are aware of these challenges going on, but we are interested in our kids and our teachers and faculty being safe. So we will even be reviewing those things over the next few days because we want our students and staff to be able to come to school and be able to get done what it is that you would expect them to get done, and that's teaching and learning. But we also want everybody to be aware too is that your new policies will go into effect explicitly in November. That's all I have. Yes.
One thing, Dr. Shagwan, if I could ask, could you prepare, I know that as chairman of the Building and Grounds Committee, we had a single sheet that showed every project, what was budgeted, what was spent of the bond money. And I didn't see anywhere in there where we lost any money.
You did not.
So I would like, if you would, to please send that list out to each of the board members, and if possible, have copies available for the public so that they would have that information, and if possible, put it on our website so that people can see where the bond money was spent, so that we can perhaps dispel this rumor that we have lost or misappropriated or stolen $70 million.
For sure, and let me clarify to you, Ms. Bush, we did share that information just recently at the CABC meeting. We shared it, I think I've said it several times. In your bond, you produced much more than you were expected to produce. 40 plus additional classrooms. Most of our buildings, if not all, have been touched with new parking lots, roofs, chillers, you name it, you've done it. So you've done that, so I'll be glad to provide that, the same information that we gave you all at the CABC meeting. We'll be sure, Mr. McCraney, that we get that to Mr. Reynolds or Dr. Augustine to make sure that we can get that published on the web. Also, let me reassure you, the purpose of the bond audit is for me being a new superintendent to make sure that the monies we spend, that we can do it more efficiently. You realize that you did receive a superior rating on FIRST, which is the Financial Integrity Rating System of the state of Texas. So you manage your money well, you dot your I's, you cross your T's, but we do want to get better. So what we've decided in essence of amount of monies is that we're going to look at those projects that cost the most, and then what can we do to be more efficient and more effective. But I'm glad you brought that up. I'll be glad to get that information out to the public.
I would just also like to clarify on that. I do appreciate and agree that we do need to put that data out, but it would be very helpful if, Dr. Shagwar, you referred that there were several other things done. I think that's what we were asking a clarification on, is explain what we got above and beyond what was on the original baseline of bond issue.
I'll be glad to do that. Let me remind you, at your CABC meetings and your Building Grounds Committee meetings, Mr. McCraney and former Mr. Zingelman presented to you every project, the dollar amount and what was spent and why it was spent. So you got those reports for the past 5 or 6 years. So you, in essence, you did a performance report auditing of all your projects. But I will definitely work on that over the next few days to make sure we get pretty much detailed the additional projects that you've done to support that. But you had your, I think it was the orange book, or red book, whatever the book was called, and then at your CABC Building Ground Committee meetings, you saw the amount of money spent on those projects, and then of course we'll show you those additionals. Very, very good point. I think Ms. Broussard.
Ms. Broussard.
This has nothing to do with the bond. I would just like to say that I would like to thank Mr. Reese for his presidency, that he's been a leader through some hard times. And as far as I'm concerned, tonight's vote was nothing personal. I just think that it's time that we kind of step forward with kind of a new beginning in November with everything. And I'd like to thank you for your hard work.
Thank you, Mr. Broussard. Also, Madam Chair, I'd like to say that we've developed some policies lately, and some of the community feel disenfranchised. I think we will, hopefully we can visit some of those policies and maybe soften our stance. One of them would be the no clapping or something like that. Hopefully we can revisit that and soften our stance to the point that the chair, which would be you, will have the discretion as to know what is too much, as was acted in the past. I think one of our citizens came up. Those are just one of the things that we really need to look at as a board. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Reese.
And I'm
Ms.
sorry,
Bush?
one more thing. I
Sure.
know that we have some homework to do, and I know we are tired of meeting, but we have got to set a date to meet to get that work together before Julian comes back here. And we have our core beliefs and commitments that we need to work together on as a board. So if we can't be on a date tonight, I would like to ask permission if we could get Georgia to poll us to come up with a date within the next week or two, so that we can at least meet enough to work on our core beliefs and commitments, so that then we can then move forward with getting our superintendent's evaluation tool in place and the other homework that we have to do. So
Now you're wanting to do that as a full board?
I think the core beliefs and commitments has to be the full board. We have a starting instrument that we work on, but it's our beliefs, it's what we believe as a board that we're here for. And so, I mean, I think the subcommittee has done all that they can do. It has to come before the board to work on it. So, you don't want to meet again, Dr. Shea?
No, ma'am, I work at you all's pleasure. But I think Ms. Antoine has heard that, and we'll poll you over the next few days and see what works for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bush. Any other comments? Okay, seeing no hands, meeting is adjourned.
So freaking loud. Just wow.
Wow. Well, he gets to go through his own car tonight.
Just flabbergasted.
What, the board
Times when Woodrow.